Hello, my name is Ethan Ortiz, and this is my video project. In an ancient world with forgotten rituals and remedies, one has stood the test of time. An ancient silver liquid that has been said to prolong life, to be the elixir of immortality. A liquid that shimmered in the moonlight, and that was made by their very gods to be passed down to the most worthy of men. The liquid of legend, coveted by all. This is the story of Mercury, a substance used by emperors and commoners alike. A substance that has been used by shamans and sinners. A substance that has been used by ancient and present people. The story of Mercury has its roots in ancient Chinese alchemy. Chinese alchemy was divided into two types of alchemy as stated by the book Jingming Guozi. The first form of alchemy was Nidong, or inner alchemy, which focused on the alchemy of oneself from within. This was often in the form of breathing exercises and poses that would increase one's longevity. The second form of alchemy was Wadan, or outer alchemy, which focused on increasing one's vitality and longevity through substances of which were outside the body. The most infamous and used substance, Mercury. The discovery of mercury is unknown, but what is known is that it was used in ancient Chinese medicines and alchemy. Mercury was made by calcining a mineral known as cinnabar, which left a mysterious silver liquid which people named shuoyan, or silver water. For some Chinese alchemists, it was not gold that was coveted, but immortality. Many elixirs of life were crafted by Chinese alchemists, as evidenced by the fact that vases containing various substances such as jade, gold, and mercury were retrieved from ancient Chinese tombs of emperors. In fact, in the tombs of many Chinese rulers, mercury can be found, symbolizing Mercury's importance in ancient China. In particular, the first Chinese emperor to rule over unified China, Qin Shi Huang, became obsessed with immortality, fearing that one day he would die and so would his regime. In a bid to live forever, he had Chinese alchemists provide him elixirs of life as well as mercury-laced wine. Some historians theorize that it was his obsession of living forever that ultimately led to his death of mercury poisoning at the age of 39. Another instance is cited by the National Library of Medicine, in which Qi Huang was buried in Linzi County, present-day Shandong province, with a pool of mercury in his tomb. This physical artifact of mercury proves not only the belief in immortality, but Mercury's place at the precipice of immortality. Mercury, although toxic, was used in many other applications such as ointments and surgery, as well as pharmaceutical drugs. The toxicity of mercury was also reduced through methods of grinding and washing, in which the process was called shuifue, and sometimes mixed with wine or vinegar to reduce its toxicity as well. Cinnabar, the mineral that mercury came from, was crushed and provided this bright red pigment that was used in a lot of dyes for building and structures. Yet China was not alone in its use of mercury. In fact, the use of mercury is present in a lot of other cultures. In India, specifically the ancient Indian system of medicine named Ayurveda referred to mercury as rasa. Rasa was believed to slow the aging process and reduce and even be able to delay death. Rasa was also used as a contraceptive for many Indian women, as well as seen as an aphrodisiac. The importance of mercury became ever more prominent in the 16th century of India, because India was introduced to the sexually transmitted disease syphilis, likely brought on by European explorers and traders. Mercury is one of the most utilized substances to be used in the treatment for syphilis. In Egyptian and Mayan cultures, cinnabar was used in pigments for buildings. It is theorized that the pigment that came from cinnabar was used so much in Mayan cities that many ancient Mayans succumbed to mercury poisoning. In Egypt, it is also used to ward off evil spirits and used in ointments as well. Mercury was used in Europe as laxatives and ointments. The most interesting thing to note is that in the expedition of Lewis and Clark, they had brought mercury pills as laxatives from Europe to their expeditions in America. The presence of mercury is also present in their stools, and their trail can be traced back to the leftover, shall we say, mercury deposits. With the wide use of mercury, it is still important to note that it still has had a very dangerous effect on people. As mercury exposure affects the nervous system, it could lead to a complete shutdown of autonomic functions and provide mental decay. The mercury vapors can impair memory, and long-term exposure can lead to hallucinations and cognitive decline. Hatters in Victorian England would use mercury nitrate to shape felt hats, which led to psychological tremors and madness, which then came the saying, "mad as a hatter." It is also important to note that mercury can be touched, and it's perfectly safe to do so if you do not have any open cuts on your hand, as shown in the video. Regardless, it is still ill-advised, as the mercury secretes vapor that is toxic when inhaled. Mercury is still used in the modern world to even greater extent than it was in the ancient world. The practices of mercury from the ancient world are still prominent in China and India, as they have been improved and further refined. Even beyond China and India, mercury is used in large-scale production products such as barometers, thermometers, fluorescent light bulbs, and batteries, to name a few. Thermosol, which is 50% mercury by weight, is used in a majority of vaccines in the modern world. Thermosol is used in vaccines such as measles, hepatitis, and tetanus and pneumococcal diseases. Mercury is very important in the modern world, as it has saved many lives as a result of its properties. In a way, the ancient Chinese and ancient Indian beliefs of mercury as the elixir of life is true. Mercury has been called a god, a poison, and a cure, used by nobles and peasants alike. A blessing and a curse, it has been placed in the tombs of pharaohs, emperors, and rulers, and their syringes of scientists. For this reason, mercury is a vital substance that is all these things, as it reminds us of a quest of immortality and yet a steep reminder of an end. It is a function of our hubris and humble mastery of nature. A result of it enables us to reach beyond what is possible, even when the cost is unknown.